Hi guys and girls, right then, as you can tell, it says Ludwig. So we're going to be doing something with Ludwig. One thing to mention, my videos all the way up to this date, I'm not saying things might change in the future, but all the way up to this video and probably the foreseeable future, I try to be as independent as I can. So what is inside? Well, you can probably tell by the title of this video and the heading. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to speed this camera up a little bit and I'm going to unwrap it and we're going to see what's inside, what's it all about, what's it sound like and all the rest. We're going to put it together as well. So it's a bit of a long vid. No, we'll speed it up. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so speeding up. Like my singing, I've done that a couple of times with videos and boys have said, golly, you're brilliant singing, it's very good. It's slightly high pitched, they said, but it's really, really good. Ta-da. So this is what we have, guys. The Ludwig NeuSonic. This has been out for a little while, about a 12 month or so, I believe now. Mild blue version of the NeuSonic. Now the NeuSonic, I've written it down here just to help me a little because the old brain doesn't function all the time. So we are talking of a 6-ply. I'll actually bring it over to you so you can see it. Hopefully you can see there. 6-ply. And what we've got here is a maple and cherry hybrid shell. The cherry is in the middle and the maple is in the inner and outer, as far as I'm aware. And that is to give as much of a tone as possible, a nice quality frequency of the cherry on the inside. Now, one of the purposes of this particular drum kit, because there's a problem with drums, obviously, it's all about the build quality, it's about the sound, it's about the look, it's about the weight, the durability. So what Ludwig were after with this particular drum kit is something that's affordable, something that if you're a gigging drummer is lightweight, so that if you're out every single week, this is going to be like a workhorse for you. So it's meant to be, which it is, a very light shell, but still not compromise too much on the sound. So they want to give the best sound possible, but lightweight, try and become affordable. It's very difficult to ship from America into Europe, especially into Britain, and try and keep the price tag right. Pricing is everything. A lot of boys in Britain, for example, will have their favourite kit. Might be a bit heavy for them. They don't want to carry all the hardware. So they end up buying like the little breakbeats, the little bop kits for smaller pubs and so on for smaller gigs. Well, the NeuSonic is meant to be in a way of not having the compromise of a little bop kit, but to have something that's close to a high-end kit, but yet is light and as flexible as a bop kit. You see what I mean? They're trying to strike that balance. So this is a 22-inch shell with a 16 and a 13, but you can get it in the 20s. You can get quite a small size drum kit. There's not a massive range of shells available. Again, to try and keep the price point sweet, what they try to do is to have a limited amount of these shells, so production is easier. And out they go. Okay, so first thing you're going to find when you take this out of the wrapping, if I'm honest, the first thing is when you see the pictures of these, you look at them and you think, what beautiful colours. Blacks, whites, which are obviously standard, this lovely sort of baby blue, and there's like a pinky reddish colour as well. Okay, so when you first see the pictures, you think, oh, really stunning. When you first take it out of the box, because it's not assembled, you might look and think, well, actually, the wrapping looks like a piece of paper almost. So I had a concern when I first saw this. We had a white one in, and we actually had white and a black, but anyway, a white one in, and I looked at it and I thought, our customer's going to feel like, ooh, don't know if that's good. So what I did to see if this is durable, if I just bring it over to you, you can see it's so thin, it's not actually like a wrap. Somebody said that it is just a process as they are pressing the wood, then this is pressed in with it, this veneer, but it's super, super thin. So I thought, hang on a minute, is that durable? Is that going to get scratched and damaged and all the rest? So I took it into our sister company, Cariad Custom Drums, and what I did is to take everything off, stripped it, and then we sanded it down with coarse sandpaper to try. And I will genuinely say it stood up to the test. It really took a lot to try and scratch that. So I used something like a 40 grit and an 80 grit and give it a good press. Hardly touched it at all. Then I took it in and sanded it completely down. I also, with one shell as a trial, I got some like thinners and some terps, white spirits, and I put that on to see whether it would discolour. Nothing. So fair play, whatever it is that they are using is very, very, very strong. The only disappointment with it in places, you see the join look, and there's a tiny bit of a gap here. On mostly you don't see the gap, but a little bit there. Fortunately, by the time the bolts and the heads go on, etc., you don't really see it, and that is on your side out of the way, as you can see by the badge. So a tiny bit of disappointment there, but in general, when you're considering price point, that's no worse than a wrap where you'd have an overlap anyway. So it's pretty good. So what we're going to do now is take everything out of the box, tidy up here. Right then guys, so going back to this, look, the joint on this one, actually much better, it's bang on, so you can hardly see it. So I think it might just be that one tom. And of course, if we explain to Ludwig, in fairness to them, they would change that if there's an issue with it. I don't think it's that much of an issue, but a little bit of a gap on that one is slightly disappointing. But what we've got is the classic look of the Ludwig lugs, but you notice they're slightly smaller again. If I show you pictures of the mini classic lug and the classic lug, you notice there's a slight bit of a, they've squeezed them slightly to give this a bit of a unique look in itself. So they're not quite the same as the classic maple or the legacy kits or some of the super classics of old, but still very, very nice indeed. So we've got that one there, guys, and the hoops are colour matched, not on the edges. The edges are raw wood, but they are colour matched top and bottom in the same material. And we have this type of spur. It's a smaller, lighter spur than you would see with a lot of others, but you have got the Keystone badge on the classic, on the wing nut there, which is the same as the Atlas range. So that's pretty good as well. It looks sweet and it looks nice. But it's one open, twist, and one lock. Straight up, straight out. Spurs for that. How's that? Hello. And the inside, I thought I'd show you that a little as well. The inside is, as you can see, it's nice. A lot of wood grain on there. And it's got a slight dusting. Looks like they've given it one spray. It's not completely raw, but it is rough textured. So it's, you know, it's smooth, but it's not like super smooth, super lacquered or anything. But that doesn't matter. The inside of the shell, one coat of lacquer, that's pretty neat. Okay guys, so this box I'd already accidentally taken out, okay? So it does come with one, and I do hope a lot of the manufacturers now start considering maybe putting these in like paper bags as opposed to the gallons and gallons of the plastic throwaway stuff that we are doing. I mean, what can you do with that? But that's for another day. So anyway, for now, it does come with the tom holder, and you would mount that naturally off a cymbal stand or a dedicated stand for itself. So it's a non-drilled bass drum, and in fairness, it's the thicker range. That's a 12.7 diameter or half-inch rod there, so that's quite a strong rod. So of course, Ludwig's of 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, in that zone, same as other manufacturers. They made often quite a lot of the hardware very thin, hit the cymbal, remember, and the cymbal would fall. With new Ludwigs now, those issues have gone. They, in fairness, make things very, very solid. Look, it's a strong bolt there. Everything is nice. Up the ante with all of that. That's a strong unit, so that's very, very good. So the other thing that's in the box is all your fixings, obviously, all the tension rods for everything there. So you will need a drum key, but it comes with the drum key anyway in the box. So you're all right there. And it comes with these, I believe these are the Cariad floor tom holders. And these are nice guys, again, look, because you've got the rubber grommets there and there. So what they try to do is isolate the steel work from the drum itself. Now, I've used drum booties, So when you put your floor tom down, the drum boot is like a foam foot, and it does make a difference. It gives more of a tone, a deeper tone. So what companies like Ludwig and others are trying to do is to either have like the rubber feet with the holes in them now to try and give more of a tone to the floor tom, or like Ludwig here, if I can bring that closer to you, they isolate in the steelwork that touches the drum with the rubber grommets, etc., like a suspension unit like you'd have in a car sort of thing, so that then is isolated from the steel going down to the floor, because sound travels through everything, as you know. So as soon as you hit the drum, if there's a lot of steel to it, a lot of that gets absorbed and gets sent down to the floor. So the more you isolate the drum, the more the sound can push out. That's the theory, and it does actually work. So they're very nice. So I'll give them that. That's a nice product for this price tag, to have a product like that. So I'm going to go for it now. The thing that you will need therefore is a drum key, comes with it, but you're going to need a screwdriver. One thing to mention on the drum head, guys, is that you've got the Ludwig badge, but these are the thinner, cheaper. These are not the American-made Remos. These are the UT. You see them there? You've got UT drum head, made in Taiwan by Remo. So they are, if you like, the lower spec ones. If you want to improve the sound therefore on this, then you would look at either Evans or Remo or similar. I said in Britain now there is a company called Code. They do a range as well. So Aquarian, maybe you would consider maybe upgrading the drum heads to start with. Maybe use these, see how you get on, but then maybe move it accordingly later. Okay, so we're going to put these on here. They're coated drum heads. So we're going to put them on, whack them all together, and go for it. Okay. And there it is. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to click my finger, and when I do, this is going to look slightly different. Haha! Told you now, click it for finger and then it's there. Right, at the moment, my honest assessment is, when I sit behind this kit, do I feel nice? Genuinely, I do. I sit here and I think, do you know what? I would use this, without a doubt. The feel and the look, I love this blue actually. This is a very, very lively kit. Being thin, being quite open. When I first tightened it up, look, it's overly tight by a smidgen. It's got a real proper ring to it, boing. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm just going to go around and I'm going to tweak it to suit myself while you're... You know, that's... Boom, really open. I put a warm booker, I've seen them, the big gels for the bass drum. I've loosened the bass drum off. So a kit like this, if you want to do rock, is certainly going to need to be toned down a little bit. For me personally, to have a kit like this, I would change the heads, because it's a little bit of work. And because they're thin heads, I would definitely go with a nice sort of pinstripe or similar EC2 on the tops. Work on that, and I think then you have got a very, very nice tonal thing. The good thing is, if it's lively, you can kill it down. If it has got that liveliness, you can drop the tones, you can work on them and tweak them. When some drum kits are so dry, then you can't get them open. Do you understand what I mean? That's a worse scenario. Trying to open up a dead kit is awful hard, but trying to tone down a lively kit is a little bit easier, because you can just thicken the head. So if I give you an example, it's a little product from Code. Look, this is a tone adapter. It's meant for 14-inch for a snare drum, to kill your snare down if you want it killed. But I'll just give you an example of that on here. Very lively. So let's take all this off. So as I said, the impressions is I feel nice behind it, I feel great. I think I could work with this drum kit. I could quite easily adjust the tonal qualities, although it's seriously lively here. But I'm not going to change all the heads for this video, guys, and do all of that. I just want to show you they're not super tight, but there is that's quite nice anyway. It's got a nice space to it. There, even with a standard cheap drum head on there. This one is very but again, it's all subjective, isn't it? You may like a tone like that. If I was playing with the band, as I said, in a very dead room, I'd leave them wide open, because then you want to get those overtones to push through. If I was going in a studio, we could have dropped these down a fair bit, but it's workable, and that's what's good about it. Plus and minus. Right, let's get rid of the negatives first. I think the build quality is very, very good. It's excellent, right? But I think in little places, Ludwig just want to watch, because this is obviously more of a mid-range kit. It's not the top quality kit, but it is USA built. So I think they just want to watch, as I said, with the join, for an example, little tiny things like that. Very small, but it's enough. The positives, it's lightweight, super light, so easy to carry. It's not heavy on the stand. It's got easy tones to it. In other words, as I said, because it's very open, you can tweak them. You can leave it open to tweak it down to kill the tones. It's up to you what you want to do with your overtones there. So that's a good thing. Very light, very easy to use. It's nice to tune up because all the screws work really well. Great, good isolation from the floor tom to the floor. So that's a positive as well. On a negative, I suppose, is the price point. It's very difficult for Ludwig to import into Great Britain, for an example, probably into Europe, to try and get it as competitive as other companies like Pearl. So, for an example, for around the same price point, on a Pearl, you would probably get a lacquered finish with sparkles. And I don't think you're going to be able to do that from a Ludwig factory. But on a positive note, look at the signage at the front of your drum kit. You know, it's a lovely badge to have. Ludwigs do make you feel nice. You've got the Keystone badge on the back here. It does make you feel like you're a drummer playing it. I know that sounds mad. And it's a really, really, really sweet kit. Would I own one? Actually, yes, I would. I think it would be nicer if they could get a cheaper price point. That would be a real sort of top draw kit then for the price. But I would invest into it because I think it's lovely, and definitely the market thereafter, guys, is you're going out Friday, Saturday night, guys, weddings, functions, you know, all those common gigs that 90% of people are doing out there. This is great. Set it up and let it go. It's a great little workhorse. Because to take it from this, you need to go to the Keystone X. It is a better kit again, but you're going to be paying more for your dollar again, aren't you? And then, of course, you get into your classic maple and legacy, where you're into your collector's stuff, and the price tag keeps rising. So it's a very nice kit. It's really good. I feel really nice behind it. And snare off. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee has left the building. Price points, or so. Start it again, shall we? See you soon. Bye.